Hello everyone, this is our sunflower potted flower and our leaf crochet tutorial. Here is the heart of our flowers. And our flower bud production method is the same, just the color lines are different. Next, I will use flower hearts to demonstrate to everyone. Who are by me, everyone can join us. Just use the same method to make it. Next, the wires I use are random. Color random. Next, everyone just needs to follow my crochet method. Crochet is sufficient. First of all, let's hook and weave the stamen and flower bud parts. We need circular needle insertion here. Let's first place the thread in the palm of our hand. Wrap 2 circles around the index finger here. You can see that there are 3 lines below us. Coincident position of, we pinch it with our hands and take off our fingers. Next, we need to connect the wire. Take it on our left hand. We need to wrap a circle around our little finger in the palm of our hand. Next, let's take a look at our index and middle fingers. Bring it in the middle towards the arm position. Wrap it from above the index finger to the palm of the hand. Pinch our coil with your thumb and middle finger. This is our method of holding the thread. Next, we need to use a crochet to thread through it. Pull. Hook the thread below the thread to bring it over. The hook needle is wound above the line and passes through it. Tighten the rear coil. Then hook and weave a braid needle as a standing needle. These 2 stitches are not considered extra stitches. Next, let's crochet short needles normally. We will thread the crochet through this coil. Hook the thread below all the threads to bring them over. There are 2 coils on the crochet needle. Wrap the thread above the crochet line. Pass through the rear 2 coils in sequence. First short stitch completed. Where at? Mark or mark above the corresponding needle head. Button up. First short stitch completed. Let's continue down. Crochet through a large hole. Hook the thread below all the threads to bring them over. Winding through the rear 2 coils. Second short stitch completed. Continue crochet. 3rd stitch. Wiring. Winding. 4th stitch. Bring me the cable. Winding and threading through. 5 needles. Take another one. After 6 stitches are hooked, we will stretch the coil on the crochet a bit larger. We can count the stitches here. Starting from the location marked by the crochet. 1 stitch, 2 stitches, 3 stitches, 4 stitches, 5 stitches, and 6 stitches. To the last stitch, there are a total of 6 stitches here. We need to place a dot mark above the needle of the 6th stitch to buckle it up. Next, we will bring up the position of the 1st stitch for it. We need to gently pull out our thread here. Find the 2 wires below. Which one has obvious activity? Find the line with obvious activity. Let's just stop. Find this line with obvious activity. Let's pull the end close to the thread end. You can add our other. Take a thread into it. After receiving the other thread, we will also get a large coil. At this point, we'll just draw the line head position. Our coil will be retracted. This is our circular needle. Next, we need to thread the crochet back in the coil that was just reserved. Then trigger with the 1st stitch position. We will thread the crochet through the 1st stitch, location where buckle markings are required. Hook the thread below the thread to bring it over. We will directly pull the front coil. Pull it out of the rear coil. We need to tighten the pulling needle. We need to move the crochet towards the pull on the right side to pull this. Coil tightening. After tightening the join needle, let's crochet another standing needle. That is braid needles. Wrap the crochet directly above the line, passing through the rear coil. Guide needle stand up. Needle completed. The beginning and end of each lap after us. Both need to be crocheted. These 2 stitches don't count as 1 more stitch. Then we will crochet the 2nd loop. The 2nd loop of crochet fabric. We also need to take the 1st short, location where buckle markings are required. This place is for threading needles. Hook the thread below the thread to bring it over. Needle less winding through the rear 2 coils. Short needle completion. We need to buckle the thread on the short needle of the 1st stitch. We need to crochet 6 extra stitches for our 2nd round. Adding needles means hooking two short needles in the same stitch. What about here? We have already hooked one in the same stitch. We will continue to focus on this needle. Thread the same needle at the same target position again. Hook another short needle. We hooked two short needles in one stitch. This is our injection. The remaining 5 stitches. We use the same method for crochet weaving. Each corresponding needle hook has 2 short needles. Hook the thread below the thread to bring it over, winding through the rear 2 coils. Short needle completion. Hook another short needle. The second needle addition is completed. Continue to add. Let's take off the glue buckle for the last stitch. Crochet 2 short needles in the same needle order. Place the same glue buckle on the last stitch. Then trigger with the first shot. Tighten up and stand up, so we can hook up for the second lap. Continue to crochet the third loop. We need to crochet a short needle for the third loop, 1 additional needle. This combination repeats crochet 6 times. Let's start with the first injection. The marked buckle position is at this location. Hook a short needle. Hook a short needle. After a short stitch is hooked, we need to tick in the next stitch for the next stitch. Adding needles means hooking 2 short needles with the same needle thread. One stitch is still in the same position. Place a needle and hook another needle. 2 short stitches completed. Such a group needs to be repeatedly crocheted. A short needle. Hook 2 short needles for the next stitch. This is the second group. Continue crochet. A short needle. 1 additional needle. A short needle. 1 additional needle. Continue. A short needle. 1 additional needle. The last 2 stitches remaining. It means that what we crochet is correct. A short needle. Add 1 stitch to the last stitch. There are a total of 18 stitches in this loop. Everyone can count their own stitches. Check if it's correct. If it's correct, it means that what we crochet is correct. We don't need to mark or buckle the last stitch. Because this is already our last lap, we need to remove the marking buckle from the first stitch. We triggered the first shot at this location. Directly cover the front thread needle from behind. Tighten it up a bit. Then hook a standing needle to elongate the thread. The thread ends here do not need to be reserved too long. Just make it shorter. So our flower hearts are ready to bloom. Everyone needs to use green lines. Also weave an identical one. I will repeat the demonstration for everyone. Here I will spend. The parts of the heart and flower arms have already been hooked and woven. What's next? We need to write with the flower center facing the word. Let's crochet the leaf part. We need to have 2 faces facing outward. Put it together. Note that we are all facing outward. We will align the position of the join needle here. Let's crochet the leaf part. Let's first thread the crochet through. Corresponding needle order. 2 complete needle orders. Next, the color of the leaf wire I use is random. Everyone needs to use the leaves prepared for everyone to perform crochet weaving. We can directly pick up the thread in our hands. We'll give him one end of the thread to compare. Gently press and hold him with your hand in the back position. Let's perform crochet weaving. First of all, we need to hook him a braid needle and fix it. Next, let's crochet a short needle, a braid needle. That's to say, I hooked and woven 2 braid needles. Then we're in the same position. Crochet a medium length needle. In the same needle order, everyone pay attention to the same needle thread coming through. We note that the one with a different color thread is placed above the crochet needle for crochet weaving together. Wrap the thread. Let's crochet around the thread. Thread through the corresponding needle and tie the thread above. And then what? Hook the needle directly to bring the wire from the coil. There are 3 coils on the crochet needle. The crochet thread is wound through 3 coils in sequence. This is our medium length needle. After the medium long needle is completed, we will crochet another long needle. Long needles also need to be wound first. We are still threading the same needle again. Hook the thread directly and bring it over. There are 3 coils on the crochet needle. Wrap the wire first through the front 2 coils to take the crochet out. There are 2 coils winding on the crochet needle. Pass through the rear 2 coils in sequence. Long needle completion. Next, let's crochet 2 braid needles. Let's demonstrate the braid needle again for everyone. Our crochet thread is wound directly above the line. Bring the front line from the rear coil. This is our braid needle. Bring it directly from the rear by winding the wire. What's next? Long needle, a medium long needle. We need to crochet in the next stitch. We need to wrap the thread first for both long and medium long needles. Next, let's move on to the next needle. Pay attention to the next stitch. We passed through the same 2. Thread the end of the needle and bring the thread over. First, crochet a long needle. Hook the needle to wrap the thread through the 2 coils in front and take the thread out. Rewind the wire and then pass through the length of the rear 2 coils. Needle completed. Next, the medium and long needles are in the same order. First, let's wrap the crochet around the thread. Thread the needle and thread to bring the thread over. The crochet thread is wound through 3 coils in sequence. Medium length needle completed. After the completion of the medium length needle, let's crochet 2 more braid needles. Next, we will thread the crochet through the next stitch. 2 needle orders. We crochet a join needle. After the crochet is brought over, we will directly connect the front coil. Pull it out of the rear coil. Needle insertion and extraction completed. What about this group? We need to repeat the crochet all together until the end. We crochet. Pick up 2 braid pins. Continue winding. Hook a medium long needle in the same stitch. A long needle. Long needles appear in pairs. A medium length needle is one that passes through 3 coils at once. What if our wires become loose? Let's start crochet again. Let's start crochet again. After the completion of medium and long needles, we hook 2 braid pins. Next needle order. Crochet another long needle and a medium long needle. The petals are all symmetrical. After the completion of the medium length needle, triggered by 2 braid needles and the next needle order. Then we continue to be stubborn downwards. First medium long needle, then long needle. Then 2 braid needles. Next needle order. First a long needle. Next a medium length needle. 2 braid pins. Trigger for the next needle. Continue with 2 braid pins. Hook a long needle in the same stitch. 1 medium long needle, 1 long needle. 2 braid pins. Next needle order. A long needle. A medium length needle. Two braid pins. In the next stitch, put on both sides at the same time, halfway through. Medium length needle. Long needle, 2 braid needles. Next needle order. Medium length needle. 2 braid pins. We need to crochet a total of 9 petals. When we finish the crochet here, we can lengthen the crochet thread a bit. Next, we will move on to this part of the thread head. Put it all in. Fabric lining. It can also serve as a filling function. What about the starting yellow thread? Everyone can hide a needle for it. If we give it together at the beginning. Conducted. If you sew and crochet, we can also cut it directly if the thread ends here have not been processed. Crochet together. We need to thread it onto the suture needle for it. Hide lines at the edges. We still have leftover crochet here. What about the last part? We need to give it an upward direction. Plug in our flower stem section. We need to remove approximately 25 centimeters. We will fold the iron wire in half. This place will be folded in half. Wear it to our from within the flowers. Then we can open it a little bit. You can tighten it and fix it. Prevent it from penetrating through our plants. After wrapping it, we will bring the flower stem down. We will continue to crochet the remaining parts. Continue crochet. Draw a circle. After the last stitch is hooked, we can reserve the line for a little longer. We use scissors to cut the line, pull out and tighten the wire. So our sunflowers are ready. Next, we need to position the thread ends. We need to use a sewing needle to snap the thread for it. Next, we will position the thread end here. Thread it onto our suture needle. We'll start from below here. Thread through the crocheted fabric. After threading the thread, we use scissors to directly cut the thread, so we can hide the position of the thread end. So our flowers are ready to be made. What's next? Everyone needs to crochet our leaf parts again. What's next? Let's teach you the stubborn method of leaves. What about the leaves here? We need to get up, braid the needle. We first need to tie a loose knot in the thread. We need to spread the thread with our index finger and thumb. There will be a coil in this area of the index finger. We will adjust the position of the thread head. Take it from the lower direction of the coil. Pay attention to the position of the thread head and do not exceed it. Let's tighten the knot next to it. So our knots are ready. Then we will shrink the knot a bit. Thread the crochet needle into our loose knot by hand. Adjust the size of the knots. Then we use our hands to hold the thread. We need to crochet a total of 9 braid needles for the leaves. Wrap the thread above the crochet line. Thread the crochet directly through the coil. 1 braid stitch completed. We can use braid needles. Fix it on the side. Mark it. Use these bow-on irons for handover. How about this? We can determine the position of our first stitch. It's in 2 places. Continue to crochet downwards. A total of 9 braid needles need to be crocheted. Second stitch, third stitch, fourth stitch, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. After the completion of the 9 braid needles, we need to crochet on the penultimate stitch. Position of the penultimate stitch. Let's pick up half the thread. Attention everyone, we only pick up half of the thread for a complete needle thread. Crochet short needle, hook the thread below the thread. Bring the line over. There are 2 coils on the crochet needle. Wrap the thread above the crochet line. Pass through the rear 2 coils. The short stitch of the first stitch is completed. Next, we will crochet a medium length needle. When crocheting with medium length needles, we need to thread the crochet first. Then we'll go on to the next half stitch. Pick half a thread from the needle to thread the crochet through. Hook the thread below the thread. Bring the line out. There are now 3 coils on the crochet. Wrap the thread above the crochet line. Pass through the rear 3 coils in sequence. Medium length needle completed. Then we will crochet again, 4 long needles. We also need to wrap the long needle first. Continue to pick up half the needle in the next corresponding stitch. Hook the needle to tie the thread and take it out. There are now 3 coils on the crochet. Let's first pass through the front 2 coils for crochet winding. Pull the crochet up and out. 2 remaining coils on the crochet. The winding passes through the rear 2 coils in sequence. 1 long stitch completed. We need to crochet a total of 4 long needles. We will continue to crochet semi or stitches next. The crochet first winds a thread and picks half a thread. Cutting and needle pulling out. Hook needle winding thread passes through the front 2 coils. Take the crochet out. Rewind the wire and pass through the rear 2 coils. Second long stitch completed. Continue to crochet long needles downwards. Pick half a thread. Winding in pairs. 3rd long stitch completed. Continue with the 4th stitch. After the 4th stitch is completed, let's continue to crochet a medium length needle. Wrap a crochet around the thread. We pass through. Half needle position. Hook stitch to take the thread out of the medium length needle. Here, the hook needle winds through 3 coils in sequence. It's our medium length needle. Next to the last needle order, which is the location marked by our withholding office. Here we will take down the deduction. We need to focus on this needle. Crochet 3 short needles. Crochet passes through the last needle order. Hook the needle and tie the thread to bring it over. Short needle. Just wrap the wire directly through the rear 2 coils. We need to hook 3 short needles in this stitch hole. 3 short needles are ours. 2 stitches followed by a short stitch. 3 short stitches completed. Then we will move on to the next needle at this location. Crochet a medium length needle. The crochet needs to be wound first. Pass through the corresponding position of the other half of the needle. At this time, we can attach the thread to our crochet. Crochet together. It can serve as a hidden thread. Hook the needle and tie the thread to bring it over. The medium length crochet thread is wound directly through 3 coils. It's our medium length needle. After the medium length needle is hooked, we will crochet 4 more long needles with our other side. The crochet is a symmetrical medium long needle. Hook the needle around the thread and take half the thread to press the thread. The crochet thread is threaded in pairs, which is our long needle. 1 long stitch completed. Continue to crochet downwards. Pairwise needle delivery. The 2nd long needle completes the winding process. Next half needle. Pay attention to the thread ends at the back that should be laid on top. 3 long needles. 4 long needles. Then crochet another medium length needle, crochet winding. The winding passes through 3 coils in sequence. Finally, there will still be 1.5 stitches left. On the half stitch of our stitch, need to crochet a short needle. Thread the crochet through. At this time, we don't need to put on the back line anymore. Direct crochet short needle. The crochet thread passes through the rear 2 coils. Next, we need to communicate with the first stitch here next to me. V-shaped. Pull and bring the wire over. Pull the needle directly to the front. 线圈从后方线圈里带过。Tighten the rear coil. Crochet another locking needle. Lengthen the line. We don't need to reserve too much thread here. Just reserve a short section. Cut the line with scissors. Next to this line at the back, we can give him a slight pull. Just pull and organize the shape of the leaves a little bit. Where are the thread ends here? We have already hidden it during the crochet process. After hiding it, we can simply cut it off. If everyone here doesn't have, hide the thread when crocheting. We need to use suture needles for thread collection. So our leaves are ready to be made. After the leaves are hooked, everyone, let's move on. We need to wrap around our flower stems and the leaf part. Next, we will use another one to demonstrate to everyone. Just repeat the demonstration for everyone. The winding method of flower stems here. And our leaf wrapping method is fixed. Next, we need to wrap it up. Our flower stem section, we need to remove the green yarn. From the upper position, this place, first turn the thread head downwards. Let's wrap around this area at the bottom a few more times. Then slowly wrap it down again. When we reach the middle position, we need to pay attention to it. Wrap around our leaves. We take out the leaves. Place the thread head position below. Place the front of the leaf in the front position. We wrap it around the top. Adjust it. As we approach the bottom, we need to hide the thread. We can first cut off the remaining thread of the leaf. Next, let's take a long-term approach. Pay attention here, everyone. We need to. This wire connecting the wire cluster. Give it a slight elongation. Spread the line with our index finger and thumb. Next, we need to unravel the connecting wire. With our flower stems. Vertical placement. Next, take the thread we are winding. Along with the flower stem and our thread are intertwined together. Pay attention. Don't move the line parallel to our flower stem. We always keep it vertical. We need to use this wrapped thread. Wrap the flower stem and this thread together. After a short detour, we can gently pinch it with our hands. Let's pull the thread below. You can tuck in the upper thread. This is our common method. After inserting the wire, use scissors to cut the wire. The length of the flower stem here, everyone can make adjustments according to their own ideas. No fixed requirements. But don't be too long, it's easy to get stuck. Like this, our little daisies. Just make it. What's next? We need to connect it to our flower soil. Next, we need to take out the already hooked ones. The part of soil, we will thread the flower stick through it. Like this. Next, we need to break the wire below. After breaking it apart, we need to surround the bottom of the flower pot here to give it circle. This can make the bottom of our flower pot more stable. We also circled the other one. Like this will give the flowers. Move it, so our flowers can stand still. What's next? Let's combine the flower chart with our flower pot again. Connect. What about the next connection process? I will use another one to demonstrate to everyone. The production method is the same. Next, let me demonstrate our how to connect flower soil and flower pots. We need to thread the reserved thread into the suture needle. After we thread it into the suture needle, we can find the flower pot. Pulling position. We will connect them. We only pick the flower pots here. The remaining half line. A whole needle connecting our flower soil. To perform stitching, let's just circle round like this. The needle goes through 3 threads at once. Wrap them together in this way for stitching. 3 wires. Wrapping. The needle order of the flower pot and the flower soil can correspond to each other. We only need to insert each needle, align and sew together. You can sew it all the way to the end. Here, we fixed it to the end. When there's still one small bite left, we need to fill in our cotton. We took out a small amount of cotton for filling. What about potted plants here? Cotton doesn't need to be filled too much. If there's too much, we'll have a concave bottom here. After the concave our potted plants cannot be fixed. So here, we need to maintain that our bottom is a flat state. How about this? Our flower pots will be more stable, stronger. And then, after the cotton is stuffed, let's continue filling the 3 moss. So the 3 seams together. Hidden thread here. We just need to thread the needle through what we just fixed the flower pots and soil. The diagonal coil in the middle is sufficient. After putting it on, we'll cut off the extra line segments. What about our tulips? The small potted plant is ready to be made.